Victoria City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
A really interesting subject. Yeah, big round of applause.
Oh boy, thank you, Ren. I tell you, I'll get even one day. My daughters don't know anything about this for a start. That's the problem. Okay, hello everybody, and thank you all for coming today. My name's Michael. I'm here to tell you about my story and what led me to ED, prostate cancer, and a penile implant. Everyone's going, wow, how can you get up and talk about this? Well, it's that guy's fault. And probably me going up and down those stairs all the time, he's wondering what the hell's going on, because I don't think I actually told him exactly what I've had done with surgery. So when Ren asked me to give this talk, my first thought was no, I'm not going to go and tell everybody about my private life. But then, just a sec, I said no, of course, and then when I heard about Rosa's story, I thought, well, look, I might be able to, she inspired me to do this talk, because I definitely wasn't going to do it. So here I am today. I hope I can show some, explain a bit of light on my story and what might happen to you and how you can change your life, because this is all about the quality of life. We all go through this, getting older, of course. When my first journey started when I was about 62, I felt like a grumpy old man, to be honest. I wasn't getting any sleep. I had a bad back and I had no mojo left in my body, I can tell you. So, and the worst of all, I was getting up about 5 times a night to go to the toilet, which a lot of men have the same or similar problem. Now, for myself, I went to obviously a doctor to have blood tests and urine tests, and then my PSA test came back at 12 and they said that's not good. And I thought, well, yeah, okay, tell me more. So then I landed up at a urologist, having a biopsy, MRI, and then a month or so later he calls me in and says, mate, you've got stage 2 cancer. And I go, prostate cancer. And I go, well, what else can go wrong? I'm going to die one day, so I don't want to be too soon. So 6 months later, I'm doing all the right things. I am actually dieting, not drinking as much, trying to take all the right tablets and that. So, and then I let that go for 12 months to see what would happen to my PSA, and of course we went back and we were still about 12. So my surgeons, my urologist said, look, I can offer you robotic surgery. And I thought, well, what the hell's that? We can remove your prostate. Anyway, so after a bit of time to let all this soak in, and I thought, well, I don't want to die, so let's just do the surgery. So I had full robotic surgery, and I don't know if anyone's watched a video on it. I watched it several times and thought, oh my God, am I going to put myself through this? But it's better than dying, I guess. So they drill about 8 holes in your tummy and they remove your prostate, and the surgeon will say, of course you say, well, you know, what happens to my manly life after prostate surgery? And they say, oh, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. Well, it wasn't fine at all. And for those who are giggling there, they go, yeah, that's so true. So after prostate surgery, there's not much happening downstairs. And they give you blue tablets and say, take these home, try these. And then they'll give you a prescription for a needle, which is one of the worst things you could ever do. And because I know you have to inject a needle into your penis and all this sort of stuff, which the thought of it puts you off having a relationship to start with. So anyway, that all didn't work. And then after probably 12 months of putting up with being by myself for a while, so yeah, a bit of a giggle in the background. What happens is your morale goes down, you don't feel that well, your ego, certainly got no ego left. Anyway, my surgeon, my urologist said, look, mate, we can offer you a penile implant. And I thought, whoa, what's that? So I did a bit of research into the penile transplant, or implant, sorry. So, whoops. Yeah, sorry. Finally, like, he said, look, okay, we'll book you in to see the surgeon. So I went off to the hospital to see the surgeon. He said, oh yeah, no problems. And a lovely Chinese doctor said, oh, I can fix this, what we do. And he showed me all the different bits and pieces that in the program, what was going to happen to me. And I thought, oh mate, I just don't really want to know, just do it. And they said to me, oh, you'll feel 100% and you'll get your sex life back and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, oh, we'll see. Because after prostate embargo, I thought, well, maybe they don't tell you everything that happens. So I went in, had surgery, came out, and they say it only takes a week or so to come good, which was true actually. But you feel okay after a week after you have the surgery, but it obviously takes a while for the swelling and all that sort of stuff goes down to start enjoying your life. Now, I'm going to turn.
Hello everyone, Jonathan Clavel from Clavel Urology here. So today I will answer 15 very common questions that most men have when considering a penile implant.
Implants. Now, this doctor, I'm not a doctor of course, this doctor will tell you exactly how it all works.
My name is Dr. Jonathan Clavel and I am a urologist specialized in men's sexual health. I specialize in penile implant surgery and currently am one of the highest volume surgeons in the United States. If you're watching this, either you or someone you know has erectile dysfunction, you have heard or read about the penile implant and probably have a ton of questions about the procedure and the entire process. If that's the case, you clicked on the right video. Let's dig into what are 15 of the most common questions that I get from my patients. So this one is easy. If you have erectile dysfunction that is not responding to oral medications, you are a candidate. Unlike popular belief, the penile implant is not the last resort for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. Why? We know it is the best resort for the treatment of your ED once medications fail. According to the American Urological Association guidelines, once you fail pills, all options are available for you. And what are those options? The vacuum erection device, intracavernosal injection therapy, intraurethral therapy, and the penile prosthesis. Other options like PRP, stem cells, or shockwave are still considered experimental and not currently recommended. So you do not have to fail all other therapies prior to considering an implant. Once you have ED and have failed oral medications, you are a candidate for the penile implant. There's no age limit for the penile implant. There's no illness that would prevent you from getting one either. Diabetes, history of open heart surgery, prostate cancer survivor, renal transplant, it does not matter. If you have ED, you are a candidate. So currently there are two types of penile implants. The inflatable penile prosthesis, which gives the man the ability to keep his penis hard during sex and the penis soft when not having sex. In order for you to get your penis hard, you will need to squeeze a pump that's placed in your scrotum. Then there's the malleable or semi-rigid implants, which are usually reserved for guys who are not able to squeeze the pump to inflate the penile prosthesis. Most patients benefit from the inflatable penile prosthesis. It will give you the most natural look and feel as the penis will be fully rigid when inflated and flaccid when the implant is deflated. Now, as of 2022, there are 2 manufacturers or companies that make penile implants in the United States, and there's a third one coming along the way. They both have their characteristic features that make them unique in their field. I would say probably about 90% of men would be happy with either one. So which one is specifically right for you is a conversation you should have with your doctor. I personally use both manufacturers. After a full examination and assessment, I will be able to determine which type is best for you depending on your specific anatomy and personal preferences. My goal is to provide you with the most natural outcome possible so that both you and your partner are happy. In general, no. You should not lose length with the penile implant if being implanted by a high volume surgeon. The implant does not get your penis smaller. Erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease do. Even though there are some studies that mention that the penis is smaller after a penile implant, most high volume surgeons have certain tricks they can recommend prior to the surgery and during your surgery to maximize your size. Moreover, have you heard the term, if you don't use it, you lose it? Well, in a sense, that is kind of true. If you've had ED for a long time, that is, if you've had problems with getting blood flow into your penis for many years, the penis will not stretch as it used to, and this may cause your penis to decrease in size. So if you wonder, well, doc, when I was young, I didn't have sex every day and my penis didn't get smaller. Well, that might be true, but every night you had multiple erections while you slept. This is why it is important to have those erections at night or during the mornings. If you have nighttime erections, celebrate those. Erectile dysfunction can cause your penis to get smaller, which may limit the size of the implant that you're gonna get. Will the size be similar to what your penis was 10 or 15 years ago? We do not know. But one thing we as penile implant surgeons can assure is that as surgeons, we try to put in the biggest implant that your penis will tolerate. Now, some might wonder, what can I do if I've lost some size already? So one thing you could do is use a vacuum erection device. Use it regularly to stretch the penis, and sometimes you can recuperate some of your lost size. Even though you might think the implant will explode, it won't. This is not a balloon that will continue to stretch. This is a well-designed medical device by professional engineers that when it reaches a certain pressure, it cannot expand beyond that. This will not pop, this will not explode. There's no such thing as overinflating the implant. So rest assured, inflate that implant to the max because it will not break by you inflating it. Another thing to remember is that the implant will only be able to expand to what your penis allows it to. So if you've always had a thin penis, don't expect to have 6 inches of circumferential girth after the implant. This is like if you get a balloon to expand inside an American football. The balloon will only expand to whatever that football allows it to expand. It won't expand beyond that. So the inflatable penile prosthesis contains a reservoir that holds the fluid that will be inflating your penis to give you an erection. This reservoir is placed either in your pelvis or underneath your abdominal muscles. In most occasions, the reservoir is not palpable even if you have a flat stomach. You might feel it initially after it's placed, but you will likely stop feeling that after a couple of weeks after surgery. The fluid inside that reservoir is saline, the same thing we give you through an IV for hydration. If that fluid leaks out, your body will absorb it and you won't even notice it. So there is no need to worry. I am certain that your surgeon will do everything possible to get that reservoir in a space that you will not be able to feel it. The nerves that give you the sensation to your penis lie on the top part of your penis. I tend to make my incision below your penis and will be nowhere near those nerves. Even surgeons who place the implant from above via an infrapubic approach, they're able to spare those nerves without injury. The only thing that the implant will do is help your penis get hard. It should not affect sensation. It will not get blood flow to the head of your penis. That is a completely different mechanism. It should not affect your orgasm either. So rest assured, sensation should not be affected. This is a great question. Firmness is determined by your grip strength, to be honest. If you have a strong grip, you will be able to get it as strong as a rock. If that is too hard for your partner, you can always tailor it to about 80 or 90%. Basically, whatever feels comfortable for both you and your partner. Remember, with the implant, you have complete control of your erection. The penile implant is made out of silicone and your body will not reject it. You will not become allergic to it. You will not need medications to prevent rejection. It will not cause cancer in the future. Implants have been present for almost 50 years and have been proven to be safe. This is an implant, not a transplant. So no need to worry, your body will not reject the implant. You do not need to take steroids. You will be okay. But one of the major advantages of the penile implant is partner satisfaction. Why? Your partner will feel a natural and firm erection. The penile implant takes the shape of your penis. Therefore, your partner will feel, well, your penis, but firm. So most partners will not be able to tell the difference between a natural erection and an erection with a penile implant. The implant provides for something as close to a spontaneous erection as you will ever get. So no need to wait 30 minutes for the medication to kick in. You have complete control of your erection. Think of it this way. Every single time you or your partner wish to have sex, you will be able to. All of the components within the penile implant are concealed inside your body. That said, when the implant is placed, the implant will keep your penis on the stretched state. If you were a grower and not a shower, you will become a shower now after surgery. This might be something you will need to adjust to, but rest assured, most people will not be able to tell if you have something in there. You can be at the gym showering completely naked and no one will be able to tell that you have an implant. Your penis, however, will be soft when you want it soft and hard when you want it hard. The most common risk of this procedure is infection. However, that risk is very low when the surgery is performed by a skilled, high-volume surgeon. Even if you are at high risk for developing an infection, for example, if you have diabetes, have history of cancer, HIV, transplant patient, or any other medical condition that has compromised your immune system, you can still undergo the surgery with minimal risk. Other risks like erosion, necrosis, malposition are extremely rare in the hands of an experienced surgeon. The surgery in most locations takes less than 1 hour from the time you go to sleep to the time the surgeon is finished. Therefore, under regular circumstances, the surgery is considered outpatient. When I do the surgery, you will go home the same day of the procedure. You do not need a catheter to drain your urine. You do not need to come back to the office for a follow-up until 4 to 6 weeks after the procedure. However, this is something you must discuss with your surgeon. Believe it or not, I have never had to prescribe a narcotic for any of my patients. Most of the time, I am able to numb the area with a medication that will keep you almost free of pain for the first 3 to 5 days. Most patients do not complain of pain per se, but do mention that the first few weeks the implant is uncomfortable. That said, we will be with you throughout your entire recovery, helping you out. The medications we offer you will help control your pain at home without you having to worry. This one may be a little tricky because there are many factors that can influence your ability to go back to work. For example, what do you do for work? If your work is sedentary and does not require strenuous activity or heavy lifting, you can go to work as soon as a few days to a week, depending on your pain tolerance. If your work requires heavy lifting, I typically recommend for you to be on light duty for at least 4 to 6 weeks. You have a reservoir that will be placed through your groin and underneath your abdominal muscles, and we do not want that reservoir to herniate down into your scrotum. If you need us to fill out any paperwork for you to present at your job, we will be happy to fill that out for you. In general, no heavy lifting for 6 weeks. After those 6 weeks, you can do anything without restrictions. And if people ask you what kind of surgery you had, just tell them you had a hernia surgery. Unless you work in a urology office or are married to a urologist, no one will know you had a penile implant placed. We need to remember the penile implant is a medical device, and as with any other medical device, it can fail at some point. That said, studies show that most implants last more than 15 years. Why does it fail? The fluid within the system can leak out. If there's a break within the system, the fluid leaks and the implant will not inflate. How will I know it stopped working? Well, simple. One day you will be ready to inflate and you will notice that the pump does not work and stays flat. That is a sign of a leak. If it happens, call your surgeon and he or she will guide you and tell you what the next steps will be. Just remember one thing, even if it fails, there are many surgeons who are experts in revision surgeries and can get one back in there without major hesitation. Call us, we can help you. Now we have a bonus question. I have great news for you. Most major insurances cover the expenses of the surgery. If your insurance does not cover it, we will work with you to try to get you coverage. We are now able to provide you with financing options to help cover the cost if you have to pay out of pocket. Just call us and we'll explain everything to you. We look forward to meeting you in person. So this is it. I just answered the 16 most common questions related to penile implant surgery. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit the like button below, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, and share it with others. And if you have other questions, feel free to comment below. I'll be more than happy to address those questions for you. Thank you, and see you next time.
Okay, guys. The quality of life after having a penile implant. I mentioned my daughters earlier. They don't know anything until now, but they've always wondered why I have still got a smile on my face, because that's why. Now they know. So, moving on. What happened? I had the surgery and all went well. There's not that much pain, but it did hurt because it's a very sensitive area, of course. And after, I know, a week or two, I went and saw my surgeon, and it was quite embarrassing because he puts you up on the table and he says, "Oh no, pump it up now." And I thought, oh, I don't want anyone touching me while I'm awake. So anyway, he pumped it all up and he says, "Oh God, I've done a great job here." I thought, oh, I hope so. So anyway, it all turned out very good in the end, and he said, "Mate, well, I think you should go out and give her a test drive." And I thought, oh, I like that idea. So anyway, that all happened in due course, and I haven't looked back since. But I just wanted to mention, you all know that I've made and developed the PMF machine that you see out the front there. Now, at the time I had prostate surgery, I did not even know about PMF machines, and also after my implant I didn't know. And it was about 6 months after I had the implant, I was working over here and was introduced to the PMF machine. Now, a lot of people say, hey, how can the PMF machine help with recovery, sensitivity, and it all gets back down to blood flow. Now, the PMF machine will actually change your life too, because it will give you the energy. 10 minutes on that machine will turn your blood into positive blood that will give you the energy. It puts the oxygen inside your blood. 10 minutes on it will give you about 2 to 3 grams of natural morphine in your blood after using PMF. Now, I found after I started to use the PMF machine, the doctors told me, first of all, after the prostate cancer, the surgery there, I wouldn't lose sensitivity. And I tell you, that was a lie, because I did lose a lot of sensitivity. And, you know, of course, you know, that has ramifications, which I won't go into. So, using the PMF machine for over 12 months now, nearly 2 years, I guess, I found my sensitivity has come back almost to where I was when I was a 20-year-old. So I feel like a bit of a stud bull at the moment, living my life out. So I'm going to die happy, thanks to the implant. Got rid of my cancer, so I'm not going to die, of course, not by prostate anyway, because I haven't got any. So just to finish it up, I would recommend everybody go and see a doctor, get their blood tests done, make sure they haven't got any problems to start with. And of course, ED is not just cancer related. There's a lot of other depressions and everything else that causes ED. There's a lot. I'm surprised how many young people have got ED. I was lucky I was over 60 before it happened to me. And never say never, because it can happen to you, and it might happen to you. And I'm going to, and John will probably put his hand up and ask a question, say, is it too late? And I'll say, John, you're never too old. I can tell you, mate, you've got a few years left in you, because they last about 15 years, they tell me. So he's got his little notebook out there ready to ask a question, I know. So anyway, I will take any questions, and if I can answer them, I'm happy to.
going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I got a couple.
First of all, thank you so much for sharing. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
See,
You're welcome.
Even if not having ED, it seems very convenient.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's like ready to go all the time, so there's no problem.
The doctor talked about pumping it up,
Yes.
but I'm wondering, how does it go back down?
Oh, okay. For a start there, the doctor said pump it up, and when you have the surgery, they give you a little model to practice with. And before I had such bad arthritis in my hands, I was worried about actually pumping it up. And there's a little pump, probably about that round, in your scrotum. Nobody notices it. And honestly, the women, unless you tell them it's there, they will not know. And you have to pump it, and it is quite firm to pump. So you can pump it up, and because there's two types of implants, there's the one that, you know, it's a bit like plasticine, you just straighten up, and I thought, oh geez, I didn't like that idea, so that's why I opted for the more expensive one, which is the pump. So what happens on that pump, once you pump it up, it takes around 15 pumps to get it where you want it, and then there's a little valve on the side that it's a little button, and you just push that, and you can teach your partner how to do it, no problem
Okay.
at all. It's very easy to do.
So you don't have to push that button if you don't want to.
Well, I can tell you from experience, mate, after a couple of hours you feel like pushed it.
Okay.
Here's another question over this way, Ren.
This will be my gym workout.
Your back actually gives out first before everything else does.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It was really refreshing to hear somebody speak about this particular subject. People don't tend to discuss it. They'll just say, oh, you know, I have a bit of a problem. They won't even address how they get it sorted out.
So true, yeah.
So it's so nice to hear you talk about it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Well, I nearly wasn't going to do it. Rose inspired me to do it because she had the guts to get up here and do what she had to say. And I thought, hey, the only thing I worried about is my girls, but you know, hey, that's life.
I should just explain. Who was here when Rose, my partner, gave a talk about her life, right? Most moving talk anybody had ever heard in their lives.
Yeah, I cried, absolutely cried.
And it's on, you can see it on, if you go to her website, myanmarrose.com, myanmarrose.com. This talk wouldn't have happened without her hearing the talk. Incredibly brave talk she gave. Yeah, and I cannot say how much everybody in the world should actually listen to this talk, because it was eye-opening about other things. But also, if you're ever tempted to complain about your life, you listen to this talk and think, I'm not going to complain about my life anymore. So it was one of the great moments in the history of the club. John.
Oh, here we go, John. It's never too late, mate.
No criticism. I mean, a very personal subject, and
yes,
I admire you for taking it up and talking honestly about it, because a lot of people won't.
Yes.
I haven't got this problem. I'm still functioning. Thank you.
Well done.
I'm not going to make any comments on that. Anyhow, just happy with that conversation. The only thing that worries me is this implant. You know, you hear such a lot about implants of the women's breasts.
Yeah.
And over the years they degrade and cause all sorts of problems. Have you got any information on that at all?
Okay, as far as I know, they've been doing implants for over 40 years. The material is different because it's a lot harder than women's breast implants. And I don't know all the scientific parts. There's doctors here who'll be able to tell you that. But no, I've had no problems. They say they'll last up to 15 years, which will take me over 80. So maybe I might have a rerun then. Who knows? could have worn myself out by then too. But no, it's I got no idea, but I've had no problems.
And yeah, the funny side of all this, you know, I mean, it is a serious subject to lots of men. I remember going to the Caddyshack restaurant, and I looked over the road and there was a new massage shop there. And I wondered why all these men were queuing outside there, because the sign said, and it should have said, prostrate. And it was prostate. So obviously somebody was enjoying themselves. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Any jealousy or envy happening? Next, go.
I just want to say I don't have a problem with inflation anymore, and I'm not talking about economic inflation. It's the other inflation it's very easy to go up and down.
Well, Michael, thank you for giving this talk, because I've actually, some months ago, last year, there was a talk, somebody had this thing and he gave a talk on it. I thought, wow, this is a really cool subject. Dr. Niti, who's the urologist at Bangkok Pattaya Hospital, he does this operation. And so if you want to have erections on demand, it's always an option. Thank you for sharing so honestly about this.
Thank you.
Many guys wouldn't.